Adults of Reddit who were depressed kids or teens. What is it like to be here when you didn't expect to make it this far? What would you tell your younger self if you could? I never planned for my future when I was younger because I never saw myself living past 18. During my early 20s, I went through the motions of what was expected of me from societal norms. I went severely in debt for an undergrad degree. Did a teaching program in which you get your master's while you teach under an emergency license in a high-risk school. I ended up in a job I freaking hated, loved the students, hated the system and being a part of it. Every morning on my way to work I thought about ways I could get injured just enough to miss work but not life-threatening. Point being, I had no control over my life growing up. I was refused any counseling services because in my mother's world mental illness is made up. When I was on my own, I just went through the motions even though I did have control over my life and healthcare. It took a year of daily thoughts of self-harm to realize I needed to start taking control of my life. I quit my job and have been bouncing from job to job. Typical millennial holding a job for a few years then floating to the next. I recently turned 30 and I finally feel like I found my career. I went from not seeing my future past 18 to planning for retirement at my current job. Edit. Wow. Thank you to the individuals who gave me gold and silver. I appreciate all of the messages and replies to the comment. It helps me feel connected to a community to know that I'm not alone and was never alone, despite years of feeling as such. I even appreciate the person that created an account closely similar to mine to say I was a high-class escort. Frankly, if I'm anything, it would be closely related to the dollar store, off-brand kind of comparison. I do plan on responding and, again, appreciate it all. I thought about ways I could get injured just enough to miss work but not life-threatening. Sometimes quitting is the best choice. Your health matters. F them. You have zero obligations to them at all. Besides doing your job to get paid, your obligation is to get the money, not have the job be your life. Edit. Common sense truly isn't common, I suppose. Obviously line up another job or have a means to live before you decide to leave. I'd tell myself to see a freaking doctor and get some antidepressants, anti-anxiety meds sooner. I suffered from depression, OCD, and severe anxiety from early childhood, and everyone just expected me to figure my shit out. I was so skeptical of pharmaceutical treatment that it took me until age 28 to ask for the help I needed. Sertraline has completely changed my life over the last 10 months. Life's not perfect, but I can't tell you how good it feels to experience things like a normal person instead of through a filter of pessimism, paranoid anxiety, and low-key self-hatred. I wake up happy. It's freaky how much this reads like my own story. Depression, anxiety, OCD, and SPD from early childhood. Everyone, myself included, expected me to just figure it out. I had to get to a point where I was barely leaving my apartment for days at a time and ended up withdrawing from my university before I got help at about age 20. Therapy and sertraline have been lifesavers. My intrusive thoughts crop up maybe 5% as often as they used to, and I can actually function on a daily basis. Looking back, I just want to shake some sense into my past self. I was so worried about medication changing my personality, when in the end, it revealed my personality. It whittled away all of the layers of mental illness and allowed me to be an actual person for the first time in my life. It's bizarre to be an adult and to actually be happy. I never thought this was possible just a couple of years ago, but here I am. I still have to cope with residual anxiety and OCD, and SPD will always affect my life. But I'm in a place where working through those things is actually worth it. I actually want to keep living. I want to see tomorrow. I'm graduating from college in May, and I'm looking forward to my future. I lost my father to suicide at 13. My mom was in and out of rehabs her whole life. All I had was music. I dropped out of high school. I would literally stay alive just because new music would come out or release dates of albums. Today, I own a behavioral healthcare center that specializes in addiction treatment now. I'm finishing up my master's degree and not only am I sober but my mom is today. My relationship with my family is amazing. I got out of the Midwest and moved to Los Angeles. I tell myself that it's going to be okay, that the struggle I faced only led me to the success I have today. Edit. Wow, this blew up. For all of you asking how I opened a program, I basically was connected to someone who had the resources but didn't know how it works. And my former boss knew I had the ability to develop a program but didn't have the resources. It was certainly a lucky break, but I also gathered enough knowledge to have the ability to own a part of an organization and not put money in. I got very lucky but had a lot of tenacity and never gave up. I think my biggest influence was the fact that I grew up in counterculture, and knowing I'd be a statistic who fell into the same things my family fell into is what always scared me. I sat with a therapist. I struggled and dealt with my trauma. I found an intern therapist that was $20 per session because she wasn't licensed and really went for getting healthy. I initially got sober just to get everyone off my back, but about a decade later it was the best decision I've made. I still struggle from time to time. I have a great life today though. If you can take one thing, don't give up. Heal from pain. Talk to someone. Your trauma and pain make you stronger. My first tattoo was a quote my brother always told me: without struggle there is no progression. This makes me so happy. Congratulations. I'm glad you were able to turn all of that life experience into something powerful, meaningful, and lasting. Thank you for the work you're doing out there. Take better care of your teeth. Couldn't agree more. It's pretty frightening to see how expensive it is to fix your teeth when they get bad. I don't know much about others, but when I go through depression, I don't bother keeping up appearances in the slightest, probably because I went months without seeing another person, so hygiene went down the drain. I've made way too many mistakes, including addiction, but if I could tell one thing to my younger self, it would, without a doubt, be to take better care of my teeth. I was able to find my way out of addiction and have been clean for almost 6 years, but I genuinely have no idea how I'm going to fix my dental issues. The depression never totally stops, but you learn to work through it. Just take a moment, take a breath, and keep moving forward in life. Otherwise, you'll sit at this terrible dead-end job that makes you miserable for 10 or so years of your life. Just keep moving and don't ever give up. Giving up is the worst, because it allows you to make excuses. I do a little mental exercise to make myself feel loads better. I committed suicide on the 31st of December, 2015. I didn't, but I like to think I did, because I came extremely close to it and backed down at the last second. So everything that's happened since then doesn't matter, because I would have been dead for it. So every experience now, good or bad, is something I would have thrown away and never gotten close to. It gives me freedom, it slaps my anxiety right in the mouth, and it gives me confidence to do whatever because I should be dead right now. Since then I've gotten a new job, a cat, a girlfriend and a half. Currently single, I've improved my living conditions immensely, and I've met tons of people who have made me smile. This is my version of giving up, and it's changed everything. Don't start smoking cigarettes. If I could go back in time, this is the only thing I would change. Same. Picked it up in college to help cope with stress. Younger me is an idiot. I was in the same situation. If you need tips and support, we're happy to help over at Stop Smoking. We've all been there. We know it sucks. You got this. Edit. Also, don't blame yourself. Humans make mistakes. That's part of the learning process. The blame rests squarely on the predatory companies manufacturing highly addictive products, taking advantage of human weakness, turning a temporary mistake into a permanent one. Younger you was not an idiot. Younger you was tricked by professional tricksters. Edit for the angry crowd. Yes, it's your fault for trying. It's a mistake. Making mistakes is normal. Manufacturing an artificial mistake for people to make, that is designed for them not to be able to get out of chemically, is what is to blame. It's a trap, laid deliberately, waiting for people to make mistakes. Not everybody is rational. Not everybody is self-confident. Some people will make mistakes on purpose because they are depressed. That's okay. What's not okay is that we tolerate for predators to take advantage of that at industrial scale. I'll go read something more joyful than your angry DMs now. Edit 2. Wow, my first gold. Thanks. It does feel special. I'll use my special moment here to say, please consider donating to the Ronald McDonald Foundation too. Having family members nearby when staying at the hospital as a child is life-changing. Much love to all. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm only 16, so I hope you didn't cringe from the editing. I hope we can get to 50,000 subscribers because I wouldn't be here without all of you. So thank you so much for your time and energy, and please subscribe.